Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is what if Deku had a quirk, half and half quirk, part 4. So I just want to thank you guys for 300 subscribers. This is amazing. I never thought I would get this far, but I'm really glad I am. I think right now I'm already at 313 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing, wonderful, fantastic, and I am speechless. Anyway, since this series is really fun for me to do and seems to be doing dead well, I'm gonna continue it a bit more. But if someone else wants something else, just say, um, and I'll try and get my head around to it. Um, some of the series are longer than others, and the ones that are longer take longer to produce, because what I like to do is listen over to find out where I am with the videos, try and remember some stuff, because I've not got the best memory ever. But I do remember to ask you to like and subscribe. It helps me out a bunch, and I'm trying to get to, I guess, 400 now, which honestly I think it'll be a long way away. But when I do get it, I get this sense of achievement like I have for 300, which I just want to thank you guys for again. Anyway, if you don't mind, I'll jump straight into the video. So, UA is under attack by, well, the students don't know. This hasn't happened in anyone's semester, so they're all running for their lives, other than Deku and Ida, who notice something. That is when they realise that they're not under attack by anybody who's willing to put them in danger. They're under attack by... We're skipping back to the end of the All Might exam. This is where they're like, we see the aftermath. Since nobody really got that much hurt, other than Ida got roughed around a bit, no one had to be sent to the nurse office, and we got told that the MVP was Deku for not hurting anybody too much and still getting the bomb safely. That is when we skip into class, and we are told that they are choosing the vice president. If you know where this is going, you know where this is going. But I'm going to switch about this vice president thing. So, that is when everyone starts to vote, and it goes that Midoriya wins as Momo becomes vice president. The reason this happened is because people are voting for Midoriya because of his fighting spirit, his fighting sense, and the fact he has a good quirk. Everybody sees him as somewhat the most powerful in class, which annoys Bakugo because he's also contender for the most powerful. But what puts him ahead Todoroki and Bakugo, as in terms of popularity, is the fact that he's carrying the same beliefs as the symbol of peace, and the symbol of peace has noticed this, and he's actually kind of rooting for Deku to overtake him when he's older. Anyway, so this leads me into the back where we was. So what happened is, it was just at lunch when an alarm rings off. This is after the little talk between Deku and Chaku, and we finally found out that Chaku is doing this all for riches, but it made Deku tear up because he finds it such a good motive. Anyway, so the alarm goes off. Everyone is panicking other than Deku, who is like getting ready for a fight just in case, but he's staying calm because he realizes if he starts panicking, he'll just join the masses and actually end up hurting more people than he would be saving. That's not very hero-like. So he relaxes, and this also relaxes Uraka and Ida, which is all good because then they're more relaxed and they can take in the situation more calmly. Well, they were told to not rush and everything, but students are rushing anyway because this has never happened before in UA. So, whilst in the herd of people, Deku wants to get a quick peek on who he might have to fight or who he's going to have to defend people from. This is when he then realizes throughout the herd of people that it's actually reporters that have broken in. So just to check this, he actually scans the systems. This is where he scans it. Well, no, he scans the area using his electric power. Remember what I said? He could touch walls and use the wires in the wall. Well, this time he taps into the system where he gets an electric pulse. This is when he realizes that a few alarms did get tripped off, but he thinks they're teachers, as where the main alarms are being tricked off is where the reporters are, and it's he kind of just realizes they're all reporters through the electrical signals the cameras are giving off. This is when Deku then thinks, well, there must have been a glitch in the system or something due to the reporters getting in, since it's basically impenetrable, the UA system, but we should definitely warn the students about this. That's when he tells Ida, and he decides to what he decides to do is actually activate his quirk, and he kind of just, because he realizes that the wall could take his weight, he kind of just runs up the wall and across the ceiling. No, that doesn't quite make sense. I'm trying to think of a way he... No, this is when Deku then tells Uraka to touch Ida, and that's what she does. She touches him, floating Ida up in the air, and that's when Deku says, Ida, use your quirk, and then Ida realizes what's going on, so he uses his quirk, and then he tells all the students to calm down. It's just reporters. Of course, he filled them in the situation before they all did this, even though they would follow him religiously as they see him as a leader. That's when he gets home, and he gets over with the... he gets home... Sorry, I'm not in the right mind, apparently. Anyway, that's when everybody calms down, because they realise it's reporters. Then he gets back to class, not home, and he basically has a big long speech about why he think Ida should be a leader. That is when Ida actually turns it down and says, Deku, you didn't realise it, but you were the first one to... Sorry, he says, Deku, for a very observant person, you were the first one... you really can't notice when you're the first one to notice a situation. You really can't notice where you're being an amazing leader. I think you should keep the head of the class, since you led the class into basically victory for that episode. So what has changed is Deku is now the class leader of Class 1A, as well as, I've decided this, he got the highest score in the UA exam. Anyway, this leads into USJ. So, USJ happens. They all get onto a bus, and Bakugo is actually made fun of, because it's kind of to show how the stuff has changed, and Deku is now more idolized than Bakugo. Let me just take a drink. This, of course, greatly annoys Bakugo, but there's not much you can do about it. So, this leads me onto the actual UA examination. So, it starts off with everybody being basically taught about the situation. That's when Deku, knowing about All Might's small form... Wait, does he? No, he doesn't know about All Might's small form. But that's when Deku and the rest of the class basically recognise All Might isn't here, which is a bit weird, but they feel safe because Aizawa and 13 are here. That is when purple void fills the sky, and amateur-looking heroes start dropping from the sky as well as a purple black-looking muscly figure, who looked bigger and taller than All Might, as well as skinny-looking teenagers, and a smartly dressed purple void, and as well as a skinny-looking teenager with a serious bad skin case. I'm trying to a really bad. I'm trying to describe Tomaru in a fancy way. Shigaraki. So, I'm just messing this up here. So, and then as the portal disappears, a smartly dressed void-looking person appears. This is when they realise that it's no longer a it's. Oh, I am so sorry, guys. It is no longer a training exercise. It is now a fight. So, getting straight into action, Aizawa and Deku both work together to defeat the villains. Aizawa stays backwards whilst he lets Deku go forward, and Aizawa uses his quirk to basically take away the people Deku's going after. So Deku doesn't have to use full strength. This is basically nothing for Deku, because what he is doing, he's shielding his fist with lightning, so when it makes contact, it doesn't quite. He basically can't feel it. As for stamina wise, because he's not using 100%, he's using about 25. Well, he's basically using no strength amplifier. He's just using the lightning protection fist, and this is because he realizes that once they have had their quirk stripped off them, they're just a normal person. So what this lightning also does, it stuns them a bit, and it kind of overruns the muscles, so they can't quite move. This only works on people that have no quirk, because people that have the quirk have a quirk, it just it doesn't react well, and even if the quirk's like, let's say, in just simple telekinesis, it still doesn't work because of something to do with the quirks they don't quite know yet. But that's kind of my power cap against this move. But anyone that is quirkless at the moment is paralyzed, and this paralyzation works from either from 15 seconds to a possible 1 hour. 1 hour being on, like, let's say a 4-year-old, and 15 seconds, let's say, on a weightlifter who's quirkless. Anyway, just to continue with the battle, they all get separated, and that's when Aizawa is left by himself, but Deku's taken to a boat area with Frog Lady Midoriya, with Frog Lady and Mineta. Thinking on his feet, he realizes that he's in water. That's when he goes, discharge! This basically, what it does, it just discharges all the electricity that's been building up in his body, and discharges it into the water to basically electrocute everybody around. This successfully works, knocking out all the water-based people, and basically making sure that they're still awake so they can swim to the surface, but it's not worth them fighting, basically. So this is when Deku then goes charge up, and all the leftover lightning that has been dispersed into the water, before it disperses into the ground, it's absorbed back up by him. So he only used, like, let's say 2% of his power on the discharge, but because it was quite a big pool of water, it was more around 5-6%. But then he got 4% back, leaving him only like a 2% loss of power. This is when he then goes in to help Aizawa, realizing he's been smashed up to bits. He basically goes in, punches the Nomu, and Aizawa luckily still had his quirk back on, So this punch was like one of those full power punches. This punch actually knocks back the Nomu, and that is when Aizawa blacks out. So what Midoriya does, making sure everyone else is a safe distance away, he picks up Aizawa and runs away with him. Not all the way, just a slightly bit of the way. This is when. Sorry, I'm just checking something. This is when he This is when he goes up and basically Ida is like ready to fight, but Deku and but then Aizawa whispers into Deku's ear, almost out of breath, almost dead. Make sure you get pro heroes. So that's when Deku goes, Ida, you need to go get pro heroes. And Ida's like, I don't want to run away. And Deku's like, it's not running away. You're needed for the mission. You're needed to help. You need to go. You're the fastest one here. You're the fastest one here who can't save. You're the fastest one here, and you really need to tell the pro heroes to go now. Realizing Midoriya's leadership, he follows his orders and actually runs to go get the pro hero. That is when some of the amateur heroes are teleported in front of him, and Deku then basically runs forward, and he passes Aizawa. He passes Aizawa to Frog Lady and runs forward. Ida takes out 2 of the amateur men, and Deku takes out 4 of them, and then Deku basically escorts Ida out of there, making sure Ida doesn't waste his energy, and basically they fight their way out of there, and then Deku realizes a gap, and he's like, Ida, run. Ida then escapes as Deku gets ready to fight some more. That's when he realizes the decay person has actually decayed away. Aizawa's elbow. So what he does is he starts to stay away from him, and realizing he doesn't really have a ranged ability, he decides to basically just stay away from him. And then he realizes he's just going to make sure everybody stays safe before All Might comes. That is when 13 tries to take care of the portal guy. This, of course, backfires, and Midoriya realizes he's going to need the help of the other students. So he then basically, what he does, he uses some power to on the floor to realize that realize that Bakugo is coming to help, as well as Todoroki. So he realizes that he's got to somehow stall until then. So what he does is he starts leading the villains around and underestimating Nomu's power, and that's when Nomu basically swings him and hits Deku into the wall, greatly damaging him. But then All Might appears, the rest of the pro heroes appear, and Todoroki appears, as well as Bakugo. Bakugo runs in, charging with explosions at the portal guy. Deku, of course, damaged Nomu earlier. Nomu and and basically they're all attacking all the amateur villains, and that's when All Might runs in and starts attacking the Nomu. Of course, with the Nomu being a little bit more damaged, but not as damaged with the Nomu being a little bit more damaged, with the Nomu being a little bit more damaged, one All Might can take care of it pretty easily, defeating it in 250 punches, but still screaming plus ultra and pushing it into the atmosphere, wowing everybody there, including Deku, who wants to reach that strength. This scares Shigaraki, and of course, everything lays out like it does in canon, other than Deku running in for the punch, which don't really affect that much. And anyway, so the portal guy runs away with Shigaraki, and that is the end of the USJ. Everybody is pretty on edge, but they're still glad that they survived a hero attack. And because UA wants to stay strong, they decide to still have the sports festival, which will of course be happening next episode. This is because I've just hit a brick wall and I am really tired, but I do want to thank you guys for watching. This will be the only video today, and that's because I am quite tired. I might film some tomorrow morning, so it might mean there'll be some videos coming out after this one, but as for What If Deku Had a Half and Half Quirk Part 4, this is the only video coming out for Saturday. Yet again, thank you for 300 subscribers. Keep up the good work, and 314 now. Is that just... No, it's not me hallucinating. Thank you for 314 subscribers. And my next goal is 400, so remember to like and subscribe. Please just get me there. You're all legendary. You're all legends at this point. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.